Hello guys, it's Symbolic from Team Paradigm. Just doing a quick stream which I'm going to upload to YouTube of an overview of the Necromancer patch for the 25th of June. I'm just going to go over all the patch notes and just explain what this means for the Necromancer as of this patch. So basically we'll just start off with the start of the patch note, which is the patch notes up. The Putrid Curse, which is Putrid Curse is the poison at the end of the scepter. They've increased the duration so it now matches the bleed duration from scepter, which is a really good change in my opinion. It means that your poison's effective and it means that auto attacking's effective. Before you'd only get a 2-second poison, which is frustrating because it never really lasted that long. It wasn't much to epidemic. Next change is the change to Necrotic Bite, increasing the life force gain. I'll go over actually all the they've increased life force generation on I think every single weapon by up to 50%. This also applies to the axe number 2, I think, and it will also apply to the staff as well as the staff auto attack being faster. Let me have a look. Yeah, Ghastly Claws increased life force generation from 8 to 10, and the staff number 1 from 3 to 4. It's a 25% increase, 33% increase. Just nice little buffs just to passively increase Necromancer life force generation. Did they increase? Oh yeah, Scepter number 3 as well. So overall, just baseline life force generation, which helps the Necromancer a lot. We lack tools to generate life force, basically. Without the trait such as Soul Marks. Soul Marks is one of the best traits in the game. Well, one of the best Necromancer traits for staff if you want life force generation. It's just such a great passive trait. Moving on, Corrupt Boon. Reduce the maximum amount of boons convert to 5. This change, I don't know why they've actually nerfed Corrupt Boon. It's buggy in itself in the fact that sometimes it fails to actually even activate. Plus the fact you poison yourself at 8 to 9 seconds, or with as much condi duration as I've got. I don't really understand this change overall. I don't think it'll hit Necromancers hard because you rarely corrupt anybody with over 5 boons. It's a rare occasion, and you mainly only look for stability to convert, or it's when somebody's got quite a 5 boons up or more. I don't think it's going to hit Necromancers that hard. I don't know if I'm going to still run this, but it's still a good utility to run, especially if they manage to fix the casting of it. Because at the moment you get locked in a casting animation when you use it, and there's dodging issues where somebody can dodge during it. Sometimes it can be blocked, even though it's unblockable. So they need to fix that. One of the biggest changes of the patch is the Spectral Wall change, which means I'm now running it. Although I was running it pre-patch with Spectral Attunement. It was great pre-patch for the protection, and now it's great post-patch because it's a great defensive and offensive utility. It's great defensively because you can peel yourself with it. You can place it somewhere, run through it, and make sure nobody can actually get onto you because it'll fear anybody who tries to get onto you. It can't be blinded, dodged. I don't think it'll be blocked either. It can be used on guardians who are using their heal shelter, so it's a great offensive tool as well to use. You can just stick it in the middle of a point, give your teammates protection, and fear anybody who tries to get onto your teammates. 1 second, let me fix these traits. There we go. Okay, Whale of Doom added an unblockable skill fact. This was just to outline the fact that it was unblockable. I don't have Waterhorn in my inventory, but this was unblockable before the patch. They've just added the fact in there, so it's more widely known. Moving on to the well reductions. Corruption, Darkness, and Suffering, and Power. Every single well has had their cooldown reduced by up to 10 seconds. 10 seconds of willpower, 5 on corruption, 10 on darkness, and 10 on suffering. So each one has been buffed by up to 10 seconds, which is really nice. This makes wells a lot more accessible. It means that they're faster. It means that you can get Well of Suffering with the Ritual Mastery. You can get that to a 28-second cooldown. It means it's more readily available damage for the Necromancer. It's a great change. Well of Power, adding stability for a second. I think this is just to outline the fact that I think sometimes if you get interrupted during the cast of it, it gets put on a full cooldown. That might be an issue. So that's why I think they've added the stability, just to make sure you can actually get the Well of Power off. What's the next change we've got here? Unholy Feast. This is the axe number 3, which applies cripple, and you get retaliation. They've actually made it so it removes a boon on hit now, which is, I don't think it was a needed buff, but it's a nice buff to have. It's just one of those things where they've just buffed it somehow. I would have preferred if they'd have buffed the axe 2 or the axe 1. I thought the axe 3 was strong enough anyways. Unholy Feast. Axe 1 is fairly weak in my opinion, unless you're running full berserker. And the axe 2, if I think if you dodge during any of the channels during axe 2, like even at the start, it just misses the whole thing. So I think axe still needs buffs. Spectral Armor, reduce the cooldown to 60 seconds. It was 90-second cooldown. Background sound. Wow. Yeah. So Spectral Armor's cooldown 60 seconds. Last Gasp was already on a 60-second cooldown. This was just a change that was drastically needed because it was just out of line with everything else. I don't know why, but it's a nice change. I probably still won't run it, but it's viable now. It's definitely viable, especially with the buffs to spectral skills, which I'll move on to later. Signet of Spite. They've actually buffed Signet of Spite quite heavily in my opinion, especially when you're running as much condi duration as I've got with Nightmare Runes and 30 points into Spite. It's now 14 seconds of cripple, poison, vulnerability, weakness. Weakness is insanely strong now. It's definitely a viable utility now. The only reason that stops me running it is the cast time of 3 quarters of a second, and the 60-second cooldown. If they even if they reduce the duration of the conditions applied, reduce the cooldowns and load the cast time, or maybe even made it instant, I'd definitely run it if they did something like that. So I definitely think Signet of Spite is a viable utility, especially with the increased power as well. 180 power, and then like it'll apply these condis to anybody it'll apply these condis on activation. It's really useful. As it was especially useful with the target the weak. It's a 12% damage increase. It's useful. Death Shroud. Death Shroud no longer removes spectral buffs. This isn't as strong as like when I read the patch notes. I thought this was going to be insanely strong, but it's not as strong as I thought it was going to be. It was one of those changes that was debatably needed because you lost the buff of Spectral Armor and Spectral Walk whenever you went into Death Shroud. You can generate little bits of life force. Like if an elementalist is using Air 1 or fast hits, like such as the Air 1 on elementalist after, you'll actually gain more life force than you lose. Yeah, I'm reading Twitch chat. I'll go over Twitch chat after I've finished the traits and anything changes. Okay, messages on TeamSpeak. Yeah, the Death Shroud buff is really nice, especially since they did buff spectral skills as well. Yeah, overall a good buff. I'd still really like to be able to be healed in Death Shroud. That would increase Necromancer sustain so much. It offers so much in terms of build viability, but we might not see that for some time, if at all. Signet of Undeath, increase the cast time to 3 seconds. This is a nerf, I know, but I actually like this change because it doesn't force you to take the utility anymore. Let me have a look at this. Yeah, the cast is really long now. Yeah, I probably won't run this now because it just last patch it felt like it was necessary. This patch you can take something a bit more selfish for yourself, such as spectral wall or spectral walk, and have yourself a lot more viability. Necromancer brings a lot more this patch, so the res signet isn't necessary. It's still nice to have, but Necromancers bring other things that are as powerful, if not more powerful, in my opinion, just in different areas. The next change. I lost this page. Locust Swarm increase the radius to 210, increase animation size. It's a nice buff, it's just a quality of life fix. Grim Spectre, this is the Lich Form 5, I think. Can be cast while moving. That's a nice buff to anybody who uses Lich Form. It means that you're not like stuck immobile for a second or two whenever you cast that. It's a nice buff to Lich Form. Here's one of the changes I'm looking for. Necrotic Grasp increase projectile velocity by 10%. I'd still wish they'd make it a bit faster, especially the change to blinds this patch, which I'll go over after the Necromancer notes. But overall, it's just a nice quality of life sort of buff. Nothing too major, but it just helps. I can't actually. Vigor Mortis, this is the Bone Fiend active. I'm not entirely sure with the Shadow Fiend. Let me just check. Go forth, my undead minion. Yeah, this is instant. I don't really use that minions all that much, so I didn't know. Basically, they've added a really nice quality of life fix for the Bone Fiend, which is you can cast the Immobilize instantly, so you're not tied into a cast bar to use minions, which awesome quality of life fix. It was actually needed in my opinion. I wouldn't have run a Bone Fiend without it. I doubt I'll run Bone Fiends at the moment, but that's just my personal preference of not liking minions. Consume Conditions, this skill now consumes Torment. That's an obvious one considering the new condition in the game. Chillblains, probably cast time. That's just a bug fix. Putrid Mark, this will now transfer blind to enemies it strikes. I think this is an amazing change. Basically, this is for anybody who played Necromancer near release. This is similar to something like Plague Signet release. Plague Signet used to transfer everything. It might have been a little bit on the LP side, but it transferred everything to an enemy, regardless of if you were blinded, out of line of sight, if the other person was blocking, invulnerable. It just basically transferred everything back over the person. It's not as strong as Plague Signet was then, but it's definitely great utility. Especially with how weak the staff is to blinds, it just means that you can get your condition transfer off if needs be without being too worried about blinds. The only thing you need to worry about is it being dodged or invulned. The range on Putrid Mark, the range is 1200. All the staff skills are 1200 range. Deathly Swarm, increased projectile velocity. This is a quality of life fix in my opinion. This is the dagger number 4. Yeah, it's really nice quality of life fix. It just means that the ability is more what's the word I'm looking for? It's a lot more reliable. That was one of the things enemies could see it slowly moving towards them. I know whenever I duel people, they'll recognize the Deathly Swarm coming towards them. Yeah, that's just a general nice